Fed up with the war in Iraq, blocked by Republicans from changing course, Senator Russ Feingold says the war has been so mishandled, he'll introduce 2 censure resolutions condemning the president and his administration.
One on their getting us into the war of Iraq and their failure to adequately prepare our military and the misleading statements that have continued throughout the war in Iraq. And a second on this administration's outrageous attack on the rule of law.
Leaders of Feingold's own party dismiss the censure idea, though agree with him on the president.
He's the worst president we've ever had, and I don't think we need a censure resolution in the Senate to prove that.
The president, or at least his Iraq war policy, still has majority Republican backing.
The only option for us is to continue to train the Iraqi security, Iraqi army and Iraqi police, which are getting better. They're conducting missions on their own. And then, as they are successful, we draw down the U.S. troops.
But that support is fragile. This week, Senator Olympia Snowe became the latest Republican to break ranks and vote to begin withdrawing troops.
Keep moving the bar for our military commitment, our military sacrifice, and our military participation without elevating the bar for the Iraqi government to make those political decisions is unacceptable.
Even if Senator Feingold's censure legislation were to pass, and that looks very unlikely, there would be no legal consequence. It would be a strong but purely symbolic gesture. Yanji Denise, ABC News, Washington.
And I'm trying to decide if I focus on the flowers or the monument.
For shutterbugs, it's the ultimate subject. The cherry blossoms in full radiant bloom, with Washington's famous landmarks in the background.
As a photographer and a visual person, just the colors, the blue skies, even the tourists who are coming down here lets me know that it's really a nice place to come take pictures.
Hundreds of professional and amateur photographers rushed down to the tidal basin this morning upon learning that bad weather might spell an early doom for the fragile blossoms.
I saw in the newspaper it will be raining. I take all my equipment and come here. I drive an hour from here.
The cherry blossom peak season may have been brief, but tourism officials say it's still been a major success. Fears that visitor numbers would be way down turned out to be unfounded. Tourists who planned their vacation around the cherry blossom season felt fortunate. They made it here right before the rain.
It's luck, I guess. We were here about 6 years ago and hit it on the peak night, and then the next day you had a snowstorm, a freak snowstorm, which took all the blossoms away.
I love the cherry blossoms because they're pink and white, and they're so beautiful.
8-year-old Janelle Arbasto says of all the sights she's seen, this outing to the tidal basin was the highlight of her Washington visit.
When you go back home, what are you going to tell your friends about what you saw here today?
Well, mostly I'm going to tell them about when I'm going to be in the news.
In Northwest Washington, Nancy Weiner, ABC 7 News.
African Americans have long brought Native music and culture into their churches. Now they're doing it with the Bible, too.
The Bible comes out of a world before color prejudice, an inclusive world of all racial and ethnic groups.
Dr. Kane Hope Felder of Howard University School of Divinity was a contributor to the new African American Jubilee Bible. The preface includes hundreds of pages of articles, artwork, and photographs about the black church in America, the legacy of slavery, pioneer black women preachers who helped spread the gospel, and African images of biblical figures.
Our white brothers and sisters simply have not done this. They have not wanted to show that the Bible is a multiracial, multicultural reality. They've only wanted to show the white Jesuses and the white Holy Family and the white iconography and the statuary, and we are sick and tired of it. We're saying that the time has come in which we have to show that the salvation history of the Bible is really one in which blacks fully participated in.
And there's more. Next month, another Bible comes out, the Jubilee Legacy Bible, co-edited by Felder. It gets into the whole African connection back to the Old Testament and antiquity. But will such efforts really unite or merely incite?
Anything that shows the black experience from a black perspective, you know, is something good.
It's great. They're printing the truth, that's all. They're printing the truth.
I'd want to make sure that the content was really based on people as human beings, not on races, not on this is the black experience, this is the white experience, but this is the the children of God experience.
And those children, the new Bible would argue, include blacks as well as whites. Greta Cruz, News 7.
An overwhelmingly friendly crowd greeted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as he walked into the chamber, and he solidified it.
And I see a lot of new friends of Israel here as well, Democrats and Republicans alike.
Mr. Netanyahu said Israel has no better friend than the United States. His speech brought numerous standing ovations. The Prime Minister blamed the lack of peace on the Palestinians.
I stood before my people, and I told you it wasn't easy for me. I stood before my people and I said, I will accept a Palestinian state. It's time for President Abbas to stand before his people and say, I will accept a Jewish state. Those 6 words will change history.
Israel Studies professor Paul Sham from the University of Maryland watched Tuesday's speech with VOA.
If someone is actually militarily interested in destroying Israel, 6 words won't stop them.
The Prime Minister said Jerusalem should remain in Jewish hands to ensure all religions can worship there. The Palestinian refugee problem should be resolved outside Israel's border. And Israelis would make the border generous in size, yet firm on location. But ultimately, Mr. Netanyahu said peace talks cannot go forward as long as the Palestinians' Fatah faction retains ties to Hamas.
Israel will not negotiate with a Palestinian government backed by the Palestinian version of al-Qaeda. That we will not do.
Professor Sham agrees Hamas is anti-Semitic and involved in terrorism, but he argues it does not call for global jihad like al-Qaeda.
However, the fact is Hamas has and still does represent about 30% of the Palestinian people. And you can't leave them on this side.
David Aaron of the RAND Corporation says the two sides, Israelis and Palestinians, don't trust each other.
So neither one really wants to talk to the other because there's no real point to it. And I don't think you're going to get much of a change until such time as there's major political changes really on both sides.
A PLO representative to the U.S. says nothing over the past 2 days will re-energize the peace talks. He says Mr. Netanyahu put too many preconditions on future discussions before Palestinians have even agreed to meet. Carolyn Pursuti, VOA News.
Nothing is promised. My life is filled with less hope than the prophecies of Nostradamus. Omega marks the end.
That's where I want to go, Hawaii, Jamaica. But if not, I just want to be down south somewhere. Maryland.
Everybody give him a clap. Recognize where I come from, East Baltimore, Latrobe hard to the core, but I get your flesh tore, laid out on the floor. Yoda ask questions later, blast first, push your shit back like reverse, listen to my Glock outburst. Let's go to war with us, but don't live to tell a story. You think the skills is like mine, you in the wrong category.
I'm Octavius Eldridge, and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. Straight like that. As far as me, rapping, I take it as, well, that's what I want to do. I mean, like, that's my goal, and I want to do it like that. You know what I'm saying? It's something that'll keep your mind occupied on stuff, except for being out here and all in the corners and stuff like that. That's what people do around here now. So that's me, you know what I'm saying? I just walk around, and I have my book bag with me, and I write raps all day long. I can rap, right? Freestyle is what I kick right now. And I say, well, you can't do this better than me. But that ain't me. I don't put myself like over top of people like that. I tell them, man, saying they can rap, they got skills, they can, both of us, we can hook up and do something. Not just be around and doubt each other. That ain't me. I don't do that. I ain't used to rapping like by myself. If I'm saying if it comes down to it, I would. I love living around here because I was born and raised around here. Latrobe Homes, that's what it's called. That's how it is. Yeah. I like this living around here.
How y'all living?
Just how it is, just sure. I don't care, really don't care for real. Really. All right, yeah, I mean, that's the court. See, you got the daycare center right there where all the kids and stuff be at. So, nothing else besides that be going on around here. This court right here, the little kids play at, where they be. Where we be at, hang out right here or just be around. I'm saying they people ain't realizing, you know what I'm saying, that you got a jail, you know what I mean, like that close to your own. I mean, that's a death trap right there. That's a pretty death trap. That's if anybody know it. I really don't care as long as I ain't up over there. Sure enough. When the beef comes around, fake dropped off, cut off. Never come around if y'all style is soft. Damn TA, eat your stuff by the dozen. I'm buzzing, pick it up. What you think I wasn't? Easy poppers like the bunnies, hip hop man, beat popping line for line, rhyme dropping. I scratch them C's off just like a tiger passing lighter. It's time to spark up the cipher. Money makers, top billers, drug dealers, and contraband hands. I'm surrounded by killers. It's like 101 Dalmatians there, 50 states throughout this U.S. nation. I spent $12,000 for college, for a messed up education, never heard of through the population. Come my rap for mass strikes like that was fact. I jetted off the scene and now we're back from the city of hell's fire for robberies and murders and still kicking that stuff that y'all suckers never heard of.
Yeah. Man, girls are nothing but trouble, man.
Too black, too strong.
Philadelphia-based rap.